Honestly, this is as close as you get to a perfect series as possible. Hey, what's up? This is your boy Gershon. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. We're talking about Warrior. It's a series that's now on Netflix, which used to be on Max, but it was canceled upon closing of season 3, but then it got picked up by Netflix, and now we're hoping that it gets a season 4. And this video is going to be illustrating exactly why it should get a season 4, because to be quite honest, for me, this show is as close to perfect as you can possibly get. Now, what's the premise of this show? What's some of the background? This show was actually based off of a screenplay that Bruce Lee apparently pitched to some studios and they didn't dig it. And I'm guessing it's because, obviously, when you look at the majority Asian cast, like the 1970s, and them being rather complex characters, at that time, that climate, they probably didn't think that that was even possible. Sad but true, it was something that Hollywood did struggle with, and in some ways struggles with now. And certain actors will definitely tell you it was hard for them to get roles outside of a martial artist because of just what Hollywood was willing to portray at these times. Even Andrew Koji speaks on the difficulty of that. And Simu Liu from Shang-Chi, he also says there was certain things like that. And, you know, this show does an amazing job at a lot of things. Things that are really hard to do and things that are easy to do that people get wrong all the time, right? So I want to get into the multiple aspects of what that is. Number one, let's start with the story. I'm a big stickler for writing. I love writing. I love great writing. I love stories that are cohesive. I love it when they pay attention to what they wrote in episode or 2 back or last season and they don't forget it and they don't act like it didn't happen. This story has great continuity. The story is easy to pick up. And even if you're a person who might have saw the trailers and go, oh, this is a martial arts show, you're going to watch this and go, wow, why didn't I watch this sooner? Because it has so much heart in different places. Now, each season finale does do something that irrevocably changes each character when it goes into the next season. That's something that you want, especially because this is a crime drama. It's not just a martial arts series, right? So you're going to see quite a few aspects that you might see in something like The Wire in here as well, too. Except it is also a period piece because it takes place in like the late 1800s in California, right after like the gold rush, where a lot of Chinese were brought over to build the railroads and expand west, where they were chasing, their dream. It's bad over there in China. Our resources are gone. I can't eat, so I'm going to come over here and live the American dream. And obviously, that's not what they were met with. And there's a lot of reality to this. And even though they came there the same way a lot of other immigrants came, they got the shit end of the stick. And even other immigrants were trying to attack them, kill them, and then even things like the Exclusion Act, which would come later, would literally try to make it unlawful for them to even exist, which is absolutely nuts, but true. But it doesn't get bogged down by only that, because that's all happening in the background. There's also the interfighting between the Tongs, or the gangs, that some of which are Chinese-based, and some of them were started when they were in California, and also, obviously, romance. All of these different aspects are excellent because they all exist, they don't step over each other, and it doesn't make you roll your eyes when you see a certain theme happening because it's appropriate to what's going on. And the next thing I want to talk about are the characters in general, which I think is the real winner when it comes to this. The characters, whether you're talking about the main ones like Assam, Mai Ling, Young June, Father June, Bill, O'Leary. There are so many characters in this. Oh, wow, Chow. How did I forget about Chow? There are so many characters in this show, and they all contribute in a way that's meaningful that you don't feel like it's overcrowded, and you're interested in what happens to each and every single one of them. And a lot of shows that have a lot of characters, some of them fall to the wayside. And when they have their little side quests, let's just call it that, when they go off away from the main story, you're not interested. In this, you want to know about a character that may not have appeared that much in this episode, but then they go off on their own thing. You're like, okay, what does this have to do with, right? The characterization is also excellent. Let's just take Assam, right? Assam came here. Sorry, spoilers. So if you haven't watched this, you might want to avoid the next parts of these videos. If not, enjoy. So, like I said, Assam comes here looking for a sister, trying to redeem himself, and then he slowly starts turning into a problem. He starts to drive a wedge between Father June and Young June, and he thinks himself to be righteous in this cause, but really, it's based off of a personal vendetta once him and his sister have a falling out of sorts, right? There's so many layers. Even Chow, who I think is probably everybody's favorite character, or one of their favorite characters, because Hoon Lee just does a good job at anything that he plays, really, especially when you see him in Banshee, which makes sense because this is the same director from Banshee, I believe, right? So Chow is looked at like he's this selfish person who only cares about business, doesn't care about anyone else, not loyal. And then you notice that he has a child from like a prostitute, and he cares about what happens to her. He wants her to have a good life, which is something that not all of us see. Not even all the characters. Most of the characters don't know that about him either, but we see it. So it's funny. We know a part of him that the rest of the world doesn't, and that's a really cool aspect of him. Even looking at how they handle all the women. This is important. Toy, whether it's Elizabeth Blake, Mai Ling, the one that she got from the guy that she was saving from being prostituted, it became like her protege. Yeah, all of them are different. They all have different motivations, and they're not stereotypes. It's excellent to see what's going on here, and they all have really likable and really like shitty parts. And I think that's what's excellent about all the characters. Like, they all are on a spectrum. Like, they all have shitty parts and good parts, but it depends on which spectrum do they lean more towards. And it makes for dope stuff. The women, when they're in action scenes, get beat up. You might go like, why is that a good thing? Because a lot of movies, like Marvel movies, stuff like that, they have this really bad habit of having women fight and then not get dirty. Doesn't make any sense. Toy has excellent fight scenes. There's one where she barely survives and she's using the environment to get around. It's excellent. And she doesn't always look like, a lot of times they look like a woman has no problem when it comes to fighting men. When she's fighting men, especially in that scene I'm talking about, it's gritty. Like, it's messed up. And when she gets injured, she's recovering over the course of episodes. They don't act like it didn't just happen. Like, she's wearing the damage for... That's really good attention to detail. That's really good attention to detail when it comes to characterization, because she's wearing those scars. She got scars internally and externally. The actress that plays Mai Ling is dope as well, because she plays that, I'm so scared and I'm just innocent. I really want to... And then like this, I'm going to prove myself and I will cut my head off if you disrespect me kind of thing. I love that. I brought up Assam before, but like him getting a lot of Bruce Lee's mannerisms and stuff like that, and you can tell when they start to do those homages, he does that great. I love Young June, because Young June, they make you seem like he's like kind of like a shithead and at first, like he just brash, but then like as time goes on, you see he's maturing and becoming exactly what he needs to, and he's not as stupid as they might make you lead, like they might lead you to believe in the beginning, which I love. It's so many great characters. Like I said, O'Leary, like the Irish antagonist, like even though he's mostly on the fucked up part, it's a great character. Bill and Lee, Bill wanting to be a good cop, but just being like caught up in everything that's happening there, and then Lee with all his so many good stuff. And then I'm gonna leave this off with the thing that I care about the most whenever martial arts is involved, the choreography. The choreography is excellent. It's shot wide. A lot of these actors obviously were training and took this seriously, the fight scenes. So now you can literally see them performing it. And that's great because now we don't have to have a whole bunch of jump cuts to show the back of someone's head or whatever like that. You see them performing, even if it's something really, really small. The choreography is important, especially because depending on how they feel, the choreography also reflects that. That is so important. And I remember watching a behind the scenes, and the guy said that too. He was like, they looked at the characters and really thought, okay, this character would fight like this. It matches their personality. Even down to Bill and Lee, like kind of fighting more like cavemen. And then even watching anytime, I'm forgetting Joe Taslim's character's name, even the way he fights. You know, he starts off with, you know, with hands behind his back when he's walking. Just simple things with his facial structure. When you look at Assam, and sometimes he's like smiling during battles and stuff like that because he's not taking them seriously, versus when he has kind of murderous intent, it's different. I love it. There's so many things. So it has great story, great characters, and fight scenes that mean something. They aren't just fights. This is something that happens with bad action movies. Fights just happen because it can happen. These fights happen because the story requires it. And there's something that happens after these fight scenes that changes the whole story before it. Especially in the finales, like the season 3 last action set piece. My God, man. Like, you felt it, especially in the last 30 seconds. Crazy. But yes, this deserves season 4, 5, maybe even 6, just to close out whatever they need to. These actors put their heart and soul into it. You can tell they care. They're still promoting it, which is great. They want a season 4. Anyone should watch this. I've watched this 2.5 times. How you watch something 2.5 times? I watched it 2 full times, and everything else, I just been going back watching scenes that I really love. I think you should give it a chance. Watch Warrior on Netflix right now. Give it a shot. It's damn near perfect.